Sounds like an interesting title, but let's see what this is all about. With the IMDb plot, the Puppet Man, a convicted killer on death row, always maintained his innocence. Of course, he's innocent. And that it was an evil force controlling his body as he slaughtered his victims. Oof. Now, Michal, the killer's daughter, begins to suspect that there may be some truth to her father's claim when those around her begin to die in brutal ways. Yes, brutal ways, that's nice. She must try and break the curse of the Puppet Man before all her loved ones are killed. All right, that sounds like some interesting stuff right there, and some good stuff possibly as well. Not sure how many movies there are entitled The Puppet Man. But kind of thinking about the way this one plays out, and I'll get into that in a second, kind of surprised this isn't done a little bit more. I may have seen something kind of similar, or maybe in a short or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting theme here that we have going here. This is just having its world premiere at Popcorn Frights. So I will try to maintain spoiler free as much as possible. I would assume that it will maybe show in some other festivals, and I believe it might end up on Shudder as well. So definitely, if you come across this on Shudder, that must mean some good things usually. What else to say before jumping into this? This is done by Brandon Christensen, along, I guess there's two other writers here as well. But I would just, kind of throw it out there. I'm a big fan of some of the movies he's done in the past. Superhost, Stillborn, and a few others. Definitely a fan of his movies. I don't often throw out directors and so forth like that. But I've gotten a chance to meet him as well. So, just, if I didn't like the movies, I would tell you, but I do. I'm a fan of his and fan of his movies. So that might hint at where I'm going to go with the Pools of Blood here. But yeah, let's see. So the story does follow Michal, but before that, we get an introduction, very kind of creepy, dark introduction, as a woman is preparing dinner and her husband comes in and proceeds to serve her up, I guess. Let's just say dinner is served in for her, as death becomes her, and I guess in turn that is kind of the end of, supposedly, of the Puppet Man, as they've somehow, either, I don't know, the police kind of catch him at this point or whatever, and think he's apparently killed other people, and think that the reign of the Puppet Man is over, and as he's taken away. But that's obviously not the case, because then it would be a horror short and not a horror movie. Instead, we get introduced to Michal, who is his daughter, and what does that mean? Well, we were going to find out. You get introduced to her and some friends, and they kind of want to hang out and so forth, and she kind of has her struggles, obviously with what has happened in her family life and so forth, and she's still trying to kind of get past that, and she has these times where she might like sleepwalk or just kind of fall asleep, and some small strange things kind of happen with her, and one or two of her friends kind of notice that, and as they the group of friends kind of are there, one of them kind of finds has told the others, and then in a moment, I guess certain things are mentioned that kind of make her mad, and in this moment, the person she kind of was best friends with out of the group, kind of knew more of her secrets or whatever, kind of let it out, and she gets really mad at her, and really not her fault, but I guess because we're talking about the Puppet Man here, the Puppet Man kind of takes over, and there goes the friend. And so that kind of sets the stage now for, you know, they want a little bit to hide it a little bit from the audience, but it's not, you know, it's kind of fairly obvious that now, you know, the daughter kind of has it in her, in whatever this Puppet Man is, and so forth. And she can kind of control things, whether she wants to or not, or whether she's controlling it or not. And so her friend dies, and that kind of sets the stage for this group of friends kind of imploding. And some in good ways, some in not. But, you know, as Michael kind of struggles with what is happening to her, and, you know, the Puppet Man with her now, or what's the deal with her father and that kind of thing, you know, that's going to play a role and effect with her friends as well. So again, you know, I don't want to stroll too far into it and spoil anything for you guys, since this is a new movie. It does, you know, kind of build up some tension, suspense, and so forth. You're going to learn more about the Puppet Man and what's going on there. Obviously, you know, between her and maybe some of the other characters can try to figure out what the hell is truly happening here, and where this Puppet Man comes from, and can you get rid of him, and so forth, and that kind of direction. And I will just say there are some really good deaths in here. There's one scene where they have basically two characters who seemingly are going to come to their end, and you know, the film kind of takes a time out to take you through their deaths, and their deaths kind of back and forth. You'll see one, then you'll see the other, then you see one, you see the other, because their deaths are slow. They're not going to be quick deaths. And the way the kind of the Puppet Man works is that, you know, it's very controlling. So, yeah, the people are basically forced to do things that they don't want to do, and then that's how they die. So I'm not going to say what those deaths are. When you watch the film, you'll know the scene. But there are two characters who are basically going to die. They're in different places, and they're going to die at the same time, basically. But very slowly, very painfully, and the film is going to let you just sit there and kind of enjoy it as it goes back and forth. So that moment in particular was really good. I liked the way they did it. I liked the deaths, and just like how, you know, we kind of got that time out to kind of go back and forth between the two of them and watch them slowly die. There are other quick deaths. I don't want to get into the specifics because I don't want to give anything away. But there are some other quick scenes where people quickly die. But definitely the way the Puppet Man is set up, it sets up an interesting thing, an interesting way to go, and some good ways to kill. I don't think they overly went over the top. I guess there were other things they could have done, but like I said, they didn't go way out of the way and way over the top. So that was cool, but definitely good. You know, some good death scenes in there along the way. So, you know, I could say some other stuff. I don't want to give too much away. I think, you know, you guys are gonna like this film. I obviously liked it. You know, maybe, you know, I don't want to say too much about the end. Maybe they extended out. Maybe a little bit longer than maybe it had to, but I guess they kind of wanted to draw out, and kind of, it was kind of a creative way to they kind of make it seem like it's very hard to get rid of the Puppet Man, but then they come up with a very interesting way to get rid of the Puppet Man, or try to get rid of the Puppet Man. You know, I guess they leave it open, I guess. But I guess, you know, they kind of had to jump through hoops to get there. I thought maybe there was a thing or two, you know, maybe chop out or go around or make it faster. I don't know. But overall, I was pleased with this one. So I'm gonna give it 4 pools of blood. Definitely a horror movie to my liking and to my taste. Not a necessarily slasher film, not necessarily the bloodiest film, which I like, but definitely had some good deaths, and I just liked the way the story was, and what this Puppetman was, and you know, like his last movie, Superhost, is still waiting for a maybe prequel to that. I would definitely see the door open for more of the Puppetman here. I think, this is a regardless of how this one ends and what you think happens, definitely could leave the door open for something very similar or a sequel or something like that. So I would be happy with seeing that. So with that, again, 4 pools of blood, and that is out of 5. Yeah, like I said, there are other things to say, but I don't want to spoil it being a new film here. But hopefully this does end up on Shudder. Some of his other films are on Shudder, so definitely check those out. So with that, horror_reviews.blogspot.com is where you can find more of my reviews, written and video. But if you're just interested in the video reviews, subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff here. If not, no worries, no problem. Also, Twitter, Facebook, reach out to me there. Twitter X, whatever the hell it's called now, I don't know. It's so confusing and so unnecessary, but whatever. And also in the comment section below, if you eventually check this one out, let me know what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not? And yeah, I guess with that, we'll catch you in the next review, horror fans.